And then we have the checker spot butterfly. This is showing a synergistic effect that as it is moving up, it's along the Pacific coastline, basically. And as it's winking out down south and it's moving up, and it's doing beautifully, just exactly what we would expect, except for one population of subspecies of this checker spot butterfly, and it's down in Baja California. And what has happened is that down here, the species are moving up. That's great. So they're winking out down here. But this isn't moving. It's not going up. Why? Why isn't it moving up? Tijuana, San Diego, LA are in the way. So if we could change somehow this way that we are having to deal with species, and how it needs to be dynamic, because that's what species are going to need, is a lot of dynamicism to go through it. But I honestly, actually, I just heard from a colleague of mine, and she thinks that this guy, which was a subspecies, is now gone in Baja California. So what do we do? See, I had to get you guys laughing after all of that. Well, this is something else that I will bet you an awful lot of people who give talks about this get from crowds. Why worry about this? We can just wait for speciation. Extinctions happened all along. We have speciation. Well, you know, I think we all know that it's not really going to work, so I don't think so. I really don't think that's going to be what can happen. So this is actually one of the things that I think can happen, and this is something that we have been trying to do here in California. It's called the Biological Impacts of Climate Change in California, and we got $500,000 from the state to support finishing graduate students and beginning postdocs who have been working on global warming to actually write up chapters. But the thing that I feel is so important is to get them to be working with people like you. We've tried to pair each of the students or postdocs with a manager or a decision maker, and they're writing what they're doing together so that we can somehow start this flow that's going back and forth. We have to do that. I still need a few managers, so if anybody's interested, please, please let me know. But I think this may be the way that we can go with this. So thank you so much for listening. Do we have time?
We do. We have about, I think, 5 minutes for questions.
Oh, good.
Okay. Well, I really enjoyed this, you're talking with us. Well, the extinction, of these species, such as like all over the world, global warming and the natural disasters, such as a Sichuan, the earthquake in China, the panda, which is our national animal, and is in Sichuan, and which I'm so happy that they try to preserve them, and because my father also graduated high school there. And thank you. I wish we could do something,
We can do something.
Yes.
We can.
Steve Schwartzbach, USGS.
Hi.
I'm concerned about the two alternatives presented as the only alternatives. I'm not saying you're presenting it that way.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
But triage and translocation.
Uh-huh.
There are many other stressors on biodiversity besides climate change. Land use change is one of the most important factors in declining biodiversity.
Yeah.
And translocations are sometimes proposed for land use activities such as desert tortoise in the desert when they want to put tanks in new training grounds.
Right.
And they're very difficult to do. There are all kinds of other stressors that have to be taken into account, such as disease and so forth, genetics.
Exactly.
If we can take a more comprehensive approach to look at biodiversity besides climate change and look at all the stressors, and sometimes the most effective thing to do in working on a climate change long-term issue is to work on the other stressors.
That's exactly right.
And I think we need to put in a whole system context.
Right. And what you're basically saying is that we have got so many species that are under such high stress. if we could lower some of that stress, they may be able to handle the stress of global warming. That's exactly right. I agree with that completely. And that's why I was saying that we have to keep the refuges that we have now. We have to be working on that very strongly. But as the temperature continues to go on and on and on, I think we have got to start getting our mindset into a different place. But I think that by decreasing the other stressors right now, it will give us some time to actually get the paradigm shift or whatever. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. Yeah.
Hi, thank you for your candor. You said that we have to start figuring out how to figure out which species we can save and which we can't. Mm-hmm. Any ideas on how we figure that out?
Oh, I have a lot of them. You have to just basically look at various aspects. How do I say that? There's a whole suite of things. Looking at the genetics, you can do that. You can also be looking at something that Jared Diamond called a long time ago, the green list instead of the red list. Anyway, we can talk about it later. There are lots of various different ways to try and start talking about triage. Yeah.
Take one more question.
This is probably really out of the box.
Good.
But,
that's what we need.
I know within the plant world there's a lot of effort to have seed banks, and the idea is to preserve our plant life. Is there anything in the animal world that's similar?
Well, back in 1987, when I was an assistant professor at Michigan, I taught the very first conservation biology class at Michigan with Michael Soule, who is the grandfather of the conservation movement right now. And what he said is we have to start, I don't know the word, cryogenifying, I don't know what the right word is, you know, and taking sperms and eggs and actually freezing them. And I don't know. I don't know enough about whether it'll work or not, but that's what he was saying, you know, a long, long time ago. So maybe that is the way to do it, but I don't know. Thank you, guys.